It's been 2 whole weeks. I'm sorry. I don't think I've ever gone this long without making a video. Apologies. How are you? I miss you. But enough about that, because today what I'm doing for you is ranking YouTuber car collections. We're going to go over some of the most popular car YouTubers, check out their cars. I'm going to rank them, give them a score 1 to 10. We're going to check out some cool cars, and that's it. Let's go. Now, let me start by saying I am ranking these relative to each other, not to me, because my car collection is a little bit smaller than some of these guys, as you can imagine. To ring them off on one hand for you, we got the BMW M5 E60, as I'm sure you know if you're subscribed to this channel. And just recently, we got the Porsche Cayenne GTS. Go check out the last video if you haven't seen it. First drive in that thing. It's a monster. It's a beast. That's our winter car for this channel. Anyway, jumping right into the YouTubers, we are starting with Dustin Williams. Go check him out if you don't know him. Watch me instead because I have way less subs, but you know, that's a story for another day. No hate to Dustin. And we have quite the collection to go through here, so I'm going to keep it as brief as possible because we got a lot of YouTubers to go through. And the first car that we're going to go with is the one that started it all for him, which is the WRX. I know he had a Civic before, I think, at the beginning. He no longer owns it, so the WRX, I think, is his oldest car right now. So that thing is super clean. I like it a lot. I think when I started watching him back in 2015 or 16 or something like that, he had just bought the WRX. He was throwing a wide body on it, wheels and everything. I think he was one of the first to do it, which was he got in at the perfect time, which really blew him up. And that car and his personality obviously helped him do that. WRX is super clean. He's then also got a Honda Civic Type R. He's turned this into a race car, an absolute beast. The thing looks insane. It's got all kinds of performance mods done. I think performance-wise, I believe this is like his best car or something like that. It's the one he always tracks. Very clean car. You'll notice a trend with Dustin. I think 99.9% of this collection is JDM. He does have a Porsche, which I'll talk about here in a sec. But that is really, I think that's one of the best positives about him, but also something that holds this collection back a bit, is the lack of variety. If we had maybe a supercar in there and some German stuff, maybe a muscle car, that'd be pretty cool. I'm not a huge muscle car myself, but just in terms of variety. But as a JDM collection in itself, this has got to be one of the best I've ever seen. And this Type R is just one of those that is super, super cool. Looks really good. We're a big fan of this one. Up next, he's got the Mitsubishi Evo. It's the Drift Evo, the Fast and Furious Evo. This thing is super cool. I can't remember. I thought he had this for a bit and then he sold it and then he bought it back or something like that. Or he shipped it to Japan. Who knows? Anyway, this thing is nuts. Really well built, really cool looking. I love the red on it. I love the wrap that's from the Fast and Furious movie. One of the most unique cars in his collection, I would say. Very clean. Not too much more to say about this. My guess is if he were to sell a car in this collection at some point or anytime soon, I feel like this one could be soon. Unless he's planning to keep it in Japan, I'm not really sure. But obviously with these big YouTubers, as they buy more cars, as they build up these collections, some have to go. And I know he sold an Evo in the past, so I wonder if this would be another one that's going to go. Also got a Millennium Jade, I believe that's the color, R35 GTR. I would say this is probably his most popular car in the collection. This thing is nuts. The color is so clean. Probably my favorite thing about the car. I think this thing is super cool. I don't know what he's got in terms of performance, but I know he's got a lot of bodywork. This is very much like a show car, I believe. But super clean. I know his mission is he wants to collect every GTR. I think he's got them all except like the really old ones at this point. So I don't think this one's going anywhere anytime soon. But yeah, favorite thing about this car is probably the color. It stands out a lot, super clean, and we love that. I wonder if he's going to get an R36 when the time comes. I know they look really, really similar to the R35 from what I've seen, but we will see. Then he's got his Midnight Purple R33 GTR. Personally, my favorite of the GTRs. That is a super controversial opinion. I believe this is people's least favorite. They think it's the ugliest, the most boring. For me, I don't know what it is. I think this one just screams like late 90s, early 2000s. I love that vibe. There's nothing wrong with the R34. I've just seen it way too much, so it's kind of killed it for me. I'm a bit burnt out on it. So his Midnight Purple R33 with the white wheels got a special place in my heart. I think this thing is super clean. Dustin, if you're ever looking to sell it, ship this thing over to Canada to me. I'll take good care of it, I promise you. I've actually never owned a JDM car. We've been German cars since day one. My dad is a German car guy. We're a German car household here. But one of these days we're going to have to put something JDM in the garage, for sure. By the way, guys, if you want to keep up to date with my car collection and it's grown real slow, but we're going to get there, I swear. But building the BMW M5 E60, we actually have new wheels on the way right now. Make sure you sub and keep up to date with all the stuff on the channel. Up next, we've got his banana lemon zest yellow Nissan Z. I don't know what the color's called. This thing's really cool. I believe it's relatively stock because it's such a new car. I don't know if there's a huge aftermarket scene for it yet. At the time of watching this video, there isn't, so it's very, very stock. Very cool though. I'm not a huge fan of the Zs, the 350 or 370. I think they're cool. I'd never buy one myself personally. And the Z, again, same thing. I think it's a really cool car. Not one of my favorites in the collection. Nothing wrong with it though. I believe it's one of the most stock he has, and might be my least favorite car in the collection, but still nothing wrong with it. I'm sure I'm missing a few cars here as well. This is just what I found in his car collection video, his newest one. I know he has an R34 in Japan, which is super clean. It's a white one, really, really nice car. Again, I'm kind of burnt out on those, so there's not much more to say. Everybody here watching this video probably knows what an R34 looks like, so you can take my word for it. Overall, best parts of Dustin's collection is the amount of cars. I think because you can buy JDM cars at a relatively lower price, he was able to stack up this collection pretty quick and through his channel build a bunch of cars all at once, where other YouTubers who are buying supercars, for example, can only buy one or two at a time and then have to build it up from there. So he has the quantity for sure. I think when he builds cars, he does them really creatively. He does a really good job. He's got a good eye for how to make a car look good, really simply. I like that he also does track. He's got a mix of performance and aesthetics throughout the collection, which is a huge bonus point for me. So that's really, really cool. I think something that holds it back is the fact that 99.9% of it is JDM. His Porsche he didn't have at the time of this video. Really, really cool. It's a classic Porsche. I think breaking into that German scene is a good move. I think that's going to bring some new audience to him. Super cool car. And I know he had a McLaren at one point, but I wonder, Dustin, are you going to add a supercar back to your collection at some point? That'd be very cool to see as well. But overall, I would give Dustin's, he's got a really solid collection. I think the only thing that holds it really back from being like a perfect 10 or like a 9 out of 10 is the fact it's pure JDM. Again, this is not a competition between YouTubers anyway. This is just what I think of the collections overall. I'm giving this like an 8.5 out of 10. Very solid, very cool. It's Dustin Williams' car collection. Now, perhaps the craziest car collection we're going to go right into next, which is Stradman. This thing is taking a full 180 here from pure JDM, and we're going basically pure supercar at this point. This guy's insane. I'm sure if you've watched any car YouTube, you know who Stradman is. The car that started it all for him is actually one of my realistic dream cars that I'd love to own one day, which is the launch model for the Lamborghini Gallardo. I believe he's got a 2004 or 2006 or something like that. He also has the gated V10 manual. This thing is insane. And what I really respect about this car is that he bought it as like when he was a regular Joe. He was, I think, an accountant, and he wanted to show, hey, regular guy, if they save their money, they can buy these kinds of cars. And he did, and look where it's gotten him. He made all his content on that car, and it obviously worked out for him in the end. That would be a car I would love to own one day, the Gallardo. I find it so, so cool. We already got the M5 V10. We got to add another V10 to that mix, of course. Then, of course, I'm sure the most popular car on his channel is likely the Bugatti Veyron that he wrapped in chrome and pink. Ridiculous color choice in my opinion, but I think it's so crazy it works, especially for his vibe, his style. Every car he's got is like a different color, so very cool car. I've watched the videos on it. Apparently the maintenance is just insane. I think he had to get the battery replaced on the key fob, and it was like $6 grand or something ridiculous. But again, super cool car. How many of those are in the US? Like 100 maybe? I have no clue. He's got one of them. If you want to see it, go check it out. I can't remember if he sold it or not. The video I'm watching is from like 3 months ago, but this thing is sick, super expensive. I don't know how, well, obviously through hard work and through the YouTube money and stuff like that, this guy is getting all these cars. I believe he once said he finances all his cars, and so the YouTube videos that he makes on the cars end up paying off those cars over time, as if they're like an asset kind of thing. So I believe that's how he does it. The videos that he makes on the cars pay for the cars themselves, which I think is pretty smart, as long as you can stay consistent with that content. Then, of course, we've got his Aventador, the pink one. He dedicated this to his late father, which I think is really, really cool. Huge respect for that. My dad and I, huge car guys together, it got me into it. I believe he's in like a similar situation, so I totally get that. This thing is an absolute monster. So loud, sounds so good. I think the pink wrap is super unique. Again, we've got kind of a purple and pink theme going on here with him. Very cool car. Also insanely expensive. All of these are expensive, you already know. And he sinks so much money into the mods. I believe he wide bodies like all these cars, except for the Gallardo. He's wide bodied them all. So nothing more to say about this. It's a nice car. He used to have an F430 Ferrari and a 458. That's no longer the case. Now he's got a white 812. Out of the 3 Ferraris, actually my least favorite one, to be honest with you. I think it's still relatively new to his channel, so I don't think he's done a lot. But the other Ferraris he's got, they looked super good. I believe he sold them at this point. I'm not a huge Ferrari guy in general. I think because they make it so difficult to modify, and the fact that they, you know, can send you a cease and desist letter about modifying, I just don't respect that at all. I'll always be a Lamborghini guy for that reason. This Ferrari's alright. Probably my least favorite in the collection. Kind of boring. So I didn't even realize this until I watched this video. Apparently he's got a Murcielago as well. Just watching his car collection video, this thing looks super cool. I love the aquamarine color or whatever it's called. He's got the gated manual again. I don't know how he keeps finding these things. If you get a gated manual Lamborghini, tack on 20, 30 grand versus the E-Gear. So that's really cool. And I believe it's still pretty stock. He hasn't done much to it because I think he just got it. If I check his newest videos, he's probably modified the shit out of it already, but it's fine. This thing is super cool. I love the Murcielago. Probably my second favorite Lamborghini model after the Gallardo. The only reason I like the Gallardo is because it's the most affordable and I think I'll be able to buy it one day. If I save hard enough. But I think the Murcielago is really cool too. Then he's got some ridiculous cars like this giant Jeep Gladiator or whatever it's even called, the Titan or something like that. Of course, purple, following the theme. I don't even know where you drive this. Are you taking this on road trips? Like, what are you doing with this, man? This thing is nuts. It's got to be just a for fun kind of car. I don't even know realistically where are you taking this. I have no idea. But not a huge truck guy, not a huge Jeep guy for sure, not a big off-road guy. This thing is not for me, but I can respect the variety, again, because I know we're talking about variety in these collections too. This gives this collection a lot of variety. Talked about it in the car collection video, but he does have another Ferrari. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it because I'm not huge into Ferraris anyway, but again, adding to the supercar theme, that keeps his relatively the same. I might have missed a car here or two. Some cars have come and gone since he's obviously filmed videos. He had a GTR, I believe that's gone. He had like a Ford Focus RS or something, a crazy build there. That's also gone. But anyway, this is the Stradman's supercar collection. Just based on the rarity of some of these cars and based on the fact that there's so many Lamborghinis and Bugatti and all that stuff, there's no reason he really needs JDM or muscle cars or anything like that in here. He had a Ford GT for a while actually, so I can respect that, and that adds that variety piece again. I gotta give it like a 9.9. I don't even know. I guess I can give it a 10. I'll give it a 10 out of 10. What else are you supposed to give this? It's crazy. 10 out of 10 to the Stradman and his car collection. Up next, we're taking a look at TJ Hunt's car collection. I'm gonna be honest, I don't watch him personally. Obviously, he's one of the biggest YouTubers, so we're gonna check him out though. So first car I can see here on this video is his blue Mark V Supra. I believe he was one of like the very first when this car came out. He built it within like a month, so that's really cool. He was one of the first movers on that car, threw a wide body kit on it. I also have never seen a Supra in that like royal bluish color before, so I think that's a nice touch. So I just looked into it a bit more. It turns out he got the very first Supra in California, which is super cool. And after watching his videos a bit more, I've seen that he's actually designed his own body kit for it with his team Street Hunter, the brand he created. So huge respect for that. This Supra is pretty cool. He's also got a white Mazda RX-7 FD. This seems to be the most popular car on this channel. This thing's really cool. Probably one of the cleanest builds I've seen. Nothing too crazy. I think he stays true to like the JDM style of it, keeps it 90s, keeps it retro. I've seen a lot of people go overboard with the FD. I find his really clean. Besides being one of the very first people to get a Supra MK5, he was also one of the first to get the C8 Corvette, which he still has. This thing is a beast. This thing's super cool. Not a huge aftermarket there for it yet, because I think it's still a very new car. But from what he's done to it, looks very clean, nothing crazy, still looks relatively stock. But it's nice. I also like that he's got some American muscle in there. But I also like that he's got an American car in there. Again, helps switch things up. I like the variety in the builds. For me, myself, I would love to have a variety kind of collection one day. So if we can get to that point, which I'm working towards, I think it'll be really cool. So I always respect the variety. So the fact that he's got American here, JDM, he's obviously got some supercars too. I think that's very cool. Based on what he said, this car is super reliable. It's got good performance. I've never been in the C8, but I think they look really good. So all around cool car. Nothing too crazy. He does have a Nissan 350Z. This is the second car he ever bought on the channel. Now, I said earlier I do not like, or I'm not a huge fan of the 350s. I think his is actually pretty nice. I think it's modded out really, really well. I think this is a performance beast based on what I've watched and what he said. Really, really cool car. It went from being like a street build to a show build to now a drift build. So this car's been through the ringer with this guy, which I think it's cool. I think it's cool he stayed dedicated to this car. That's kind of my goal with the M5 E60 is to bring it with me as this channel grows, and who knows what we'll add in the future. But that's one I'd really like to keep around forever. I think it's a super unique car. Same thing for this 350Z for TJ. Of course, he's got an MK4 Supra as well. This thing is super clean. He's left this thing almost completely bone stock, I believe, so there's not much to say about it. I'm sure you know what an MK4 Supra looks like. This is what his looks like. Very clean car. Again, like the R34, I'm a little burnt out on it because you see them everywhere, right? You get in the cars, the MK4 and the R34 are the first two cars you're ever going to hear of. So, cool car, nothing wrong with it. Part of the collection, not too much more to say. Like Strad, he's also got, not a pink this time, a purple Aventador, which is really cool. I'm a huge fan of Lambo, obviously, so I think this might be my favorite car in his collection. Apparently, this was his first exotic car dealership purchase. So I think it's pretty important to him. I like and I can respect when guys are so into their cars and it's like a childhood goal. You know, it's not something you got into a year or two ago or something like that. When you've been working for it for your whole life, that feeling of getting it is different than if it was, you know, if you got it just like that. So I can respect a lot somebody who's talked about a car since they were 8, 9 years old and then one day gets old enough and has the money to be able to buy it because I know how special that can be. So big shout out to TJ on that. Lastly, he's got an R8 in white, super clean. I love the wheels on this, that like dark bronzish color. I think that's really cool. All around pretty solid car collection. I think to me, not the most exciting one on YouTube, but I still think nonetheless very cool. I'm gonna give this out of 10, like an 8. Right under Dustin. Not quite on the level of Stradman. That guy's got some insane taste and some insane cars. Really cool car collection. Again, I'm nowhere near any of this, so there's no hate here, there's no judge. Really, really cool car, and 8 out of 10 for TJ Hunt. But I do want to keep this relatively short because I want to gauge if there's even an interest to you guys in this kind of video, and then I can expand on it with a huge list, or a bigger list at least, or more YouTubers if, you know, you tell me we want to see more of this. But before we end it, I want to show you my car collection real quick. Like I said, there's only 2 in it, but we do have Dad's cars as well in the backyard. I did a full tour of that. You can check it out right here if you want to see all of those cars. There's 9 of them, I believe. Now I'm going to run you quickly and give my car collection a rating. It's going to be pretty low, but I'm a big fan. We got the 2006 BMW M5 E60, the S85 V10 engine. If you've been watching any of my videos, you've seen this car a million times. I've had this thing since 2017, so we're coming up on 7 years now. It has 238,000 kilometers on it. I'm pretty sure it's like the highest mileage M5 in North America. Correct me if I'm wrong, comment down below if you know one with higher kilometers or miles. The thing's awesome. It definitely breaks all the time. We're in the shop at least once a year for a major repair, but that comes with the territory of the S85. I've got a full mod list video on my channel. Go check that out if you want to see everything that's done to it. And recently, we just bought, as I mentioned, the Porsche Cayenne GTS 2018, 17, I don't remember the year. I don't even know. I should know. I don't. This thing is super cool. We just took it out for the first drive a couple weeks ago. I've had it for a month or two now. It's the winter car. Thank you, Dad. We're sharing that one for the winter. Rip to the X5, which we had before. But anyway, those are the 2 cars that currently take up all the time and money in my life. Hopefully one day I can get more. That's the goal at least, and that's definitely what we're going to do. So until then, appreciate you guys for checking out the channel, watching the videos. Let me know if you want me to expand this car YouTuber list, and I will make a list with, 10 YouTubers. These were just the guys that I'm most knowledgeable on, that I watch the most. So that's why I decided to make it on them. But with that being said, make sure you like, make sure you sub. Helps me out a lot. Appreciate you all. And go check out apparelbyenemy.com for all your car culture clothing needs. We got tons of stuff on there. Car posters, tees, accessories, hoodies, all that. I've got merch for the M5 E60. If you're a big fan of that car, I got some tees and hoodies that you can get on there too. You're going to find something you like. 15% off also when you sign up by email. So go check out all that good stuff. And with that, I'll catch you in the next video. My name's Chris. Love you. Bye.